It's been a grieving time.
Because we finished Allegiant.
Jumbo! We're here to talk about... Thank you for pressing play. But if you haven't read Allegiant, press pause.
We love spoilers. Just ask Brandy. She spoiled herself for this book.
And I was only on page like 100.
She read
So
the
I
whole book
had to
knowing.
read the whole book knowing that she was going to pass on.
Speaking of, let's talk about that, shall we?
Yeah, let's talk about this book.
No, I meant her death.
And that.
People are not happy about it.
No, people feel betrayed and very disappointed and upset.
They think it shouldn't have happened. We disagree.
Yeah, I think
It had
that,
happened.
you know, I think that it's the most realistic way for the story to end.
After reading Veronica Roth's blog post about it, it just really confirmed, because she had said that like all those other times that she was about to die, she survived because she wasn't there yet. She didn't
fully complete her
journey. And all of that had to do with her sense of self also.
But she was just struggling. It was like, who the F am I? Because I'm divergent. Am I selfless? Am I brave? Am I neither of those things? Am I all of those things? And before she died, it was just like, yeah, I've done this. I've done everything I can do. Am I done yet?
It really did come full circle. It really did make sense. Obviously, it was devastating. Nobody wants to witness their main character dying. Like, yeah, we cried, we were upset, but we understand. And it was an extremely powerful ending and a very strong one, a very necessary one.
Yeah, I think it was necessary. How awesome it would have been to read Allegiant and to have Tris and Tobias have a happily ever after would have been awesome. But it helps you appreciate the story, I think, as a whole when you do have a tragedy in it, because it makes you think and reflect.
It definitely would have taken away from the story and away from Tris's character had they had a happy ending. Without even looking at theme and, you know, story and character development on the most basic terms, this is a dystopian novel. The book, the whole series, their world is at war.
The war started in Divergent and went all the way to the end.
Yeah.
And so, like, seriously, all of our faves and all of our people are going to make it out alive? That's really unrealistic.
And I wouldn't have thought anything of the series. I would have read it and I would have been like, okay, but I read it and I was like,
this is going to have just a really more long-lasting effect on you.
Yeah.
Throughout life, and be like, oh, that Divergent series.
Brandy has something really interesting to say about the whole genetically damaged versus genetically pure plot line.
I thought it was really interesting because that is how that society judged others. It was on their genetics in their brain, their DNA, something that they could not control. You're either born divergent or born pure, born damaged or whatever, and you couldn't help it. But when you look at it, you feel bad for like Tobias because he's so like, oh man, I'm discriminated against now because I'm damaged, but there's no difference between like him and Tris, who's technically pure. I think that it relates in our society because we discriminate against race, we discriminate against sex, we discriminate against sexual orientation, things that we cannot help. Even though it is a dystopian novel, it still needs to be relatable, and I think that she did that in a lot of ways.
That was a wonderful, wonderful point you just made. Should we talk more about Tris's death?
My favorite part of that is that she held Caleb at gunpoint to do it. It's just like, that's so Tris. I think she's a great, as a character, I think she's such a good heroine. I think that Tris is an awesome example, and I just think that like young girls should read about her and her strength.
And with Tris's sacrifice comes the discussion of her relationship with Caleb. I don't excuse anything that he did, but I also think that he was very confused. You're taught faction before blood, and I don't think he understands understood the full extent of not his actions necessarily, but of everything that was going on. I think he was still very much in the dark, regardless of being in Eurydice.
I like the Peter story about him erasing his memories. I think it was a different way to approach it, but I ended up liking it. It is kind of a sad ending for him, in a way.
He died, like, we lost Peter as well. He was another casualty.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know how much anybody cares about Peter.
It was really sad about Tobias and him wanting to erase his memory and that kind of storyline. And I kind of liked it because it was just irony of how he just convinced Peter, well, he was trying to convince Peter not to do it.
You know, what's interesting is they were doing it for different reasons. Peter wanted to be different. Tobias just didn't want the hurt. He had so much pain that he was just trying to erase.
Yeah.
So that's different forms of cowardice.
Yeah. My favorite thing about things like this, not just in this story, but anything where, like, somebody loses their partner, is how the one that didn't die lives almost for them and in honor of them. And I just really feel like that's what Tobias was doing.
You're talking about the Titanic.
Shut up!
I liked how Christina, whenever Tobias was about to erase his memories, when Christina was like, this is, I don't know the exact quote, so don't, like, hate me, but she was like, this is
I got the book!
Oh, God.
What quote you want? I'll pull it up.
Like, whenever Tobias says, this is my decision, not yours, and then Christina says, this is not your decision, this is the decision of a coward, and you're a lot of things for, but not a coward, never. I just really like that, because not for any deep reason, but just because I didn't realize how much I believed that until this quote. Like, he displayed the least amount of cowardice throughout the series, don't you think?
Yeah, I do.
Here's what I like. His strength comes from his vulnerabilities. I think that's just, I don't know.
I just think overall, good job, D-Rock.
In congratulating V. Roth, I would just like to say that we think Veronica Roth as an author is just, Brandy said the other day that she's very unapologetic about her writing.
I mean, it's her story, and this is a story she's had planned since the beginning, and I think it's a great and beautiful, perfect story.
In her blog post, she said something about how, you know, she respects and accepts everybody's opinion of it, talking about the hate, because it's our story as much as hers now, but what she advocates above everything else is that it's Triss's story. So basically, point being, Veronica Roth is, like, on the list of top 3 authors ever. And I don't know, she's so cool.
She's so cool. I, like, aspire to be like her. Let us know what you thought of Allegiant if you read it, and hopefully you did if you watched this whole thing.
Yeah.
Let us know if you agree or disagree with the comments. It won't offend us.
We accept all opinions.
Unless they're stupid.
Yeah.